Hey, guys, what's going on? Welcome to my podcast, Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host. I am Shane McLain. Sean's in the background, Gwen's in the background. So, hello to everyone. Thank you for coming to the show. I really look forward to this one. I'm thinking about starting a series called Run It Back, to where I'm going to have some previous guests that we've had on to see where they're at today, what they're doing today, things like this. And the guest that I have tonight, it would be the first to this. And we had an amazing show, the last time. And I really look forward to having another conversation with this gentleman. So, Mr. Jeremy Cotter, can you please come on?
Hey, man, how's it going tonight, Shane?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm glad to have you on, man, and thank you for stepping up, to come on. We had a great show last time, and I'm hoping to do the same because both of us have really come a long way, with the podcast and things like that. I don't know. I know you've had some awesome guests and stuff like that. Man, I think our network, honestly, should do a Run It Back.
Brother, I agree with you to a degree. I haven't quite hit that point yet because, I'm still going strong. I've got guests booked all the way into almost October.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, if you've got that like that, see, I've had so many. Like I said, there's been like very few times to where like I've had to miss the podcast because of like hospital and stuff like that. But I do want to run it back with some people. I do, because like I see them online and I follow, talk to them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And like some of them, like the last time that I had Larry on, for instance, he was doing the show that he finished. And now if I bring him back on, he can speak about that show.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, I just, I just think that would be a good idea, and just keep people fresh, like in and through the network and stuff like that. And I appreciate you coming on like this.
You're not a problem, man. I'm always available for anybody that needs me anytime, man. I always say that I'm always ready to go, no matter what.
I know you are, man. I know you are. You are. You are.
I think it's a great idea for you. The Run It Back series should definitely be a Shane McLain special, a Bridging the Seen and Unseen thing. That is something that definitely should be a youth thing, man. I think it's a great idea. I think you should definitely start rolling it back because you've got lineage on here. 2 years, you said, to the day. And
I mean, no, well, 2 years ago to the day, we were at the Fitzpatrick, which is a haunted hotel with Gwen and Lee Triana, like in Georgia, and I mean, that was a great time that we had there.
It's awesome, but the whole thing started a question for, if you had to choose a dream guest, who would you love to have on? Who? Robert Englund. There we go. I can definitely say
dream guest.
A dream guest would be Robert.
Well, the one that I've been wanting to have on is John Zaffis.
He's on my list too. But if we were talking strictly dream guests, Freddy Krueger.
Oh, dream guests. Dream
is my ultimate dream guest, no doubt.
That's a good one, man.
It is. It's something you got to think about deeply because it's something. There's so many people. There's so many avenues you can go. There's so many ways you can take it. I think that for me, because I've been in his presence once before at a convention, just getting a chance to meet the man and getting an autograph. Robert Englund in my heart would probably be I would love to see
Oh
him
man.
on the
Oh
Office
man.
Tales podcast. Oh my God! Like, you know what? Tonight I have later on Sonia Thompson, who is one of the most recognized walkers on the Walking Dead universe, as well as she was in Zombieland and many other things. I cannot wait to get a chance to talk to her this evening. You know, I gotta tell you, the last month and a half for Twisted Tales has been just humbling and awe-inspiring in my own personal heart. I've had Craig Dowsett, who was Winnie the Pooh and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, which spawned the entire like fairy tale horror franchise that's going on right now. You know, I've had James Stokes on. I've
Oh,
had
me too.
yeah,
Me too. He's great.
I had the actor stuntman Bill Perry on, who was in so many different movies across the board of all of our childhoods, from the Lost Boys to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchises and whatnot. You know, I had Lee Triana on recently. I've had, but I'm so fortunate that I've had so many great guests, and I have a lot more to come. And I'm going to be branching out, not just with the paranormal and the horror. Thank you. Wicked Wednesdays family is fantastic. It's great. It's also the place to be.
It is
during the week. I know what I'm definitely shouting out our Wicked Wednesdays family. Shout out to Christina with a great episode earlier today. I was able to catch a good portion of that when I was on break at work. She does an amazing job. Yourself, Shane, you've been rocking it since day one.
Thank you, man.
And I'm so proud to have you on Wednesdays with us. And when you joined the family about a month and a half ago, and I call it a family because we all support each other. We all work with each other. And that's the most important thing. And then my brother from another mother, Nathaniel Elwell, who's been chiming in tonight.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I see him commenting on here right there. And Nate, I know you said that we're rocking it right there, brother. You're rocking it too, man. You know, I mean, dude, like you do an awesome job. And I'm gonna brag a little bit on Nate there, because Nate, when he was doing his TikToks and things like that, you know, he started with the debunking and stuff like that. And I knew when he did those, his personality stood out so much. Yep. That I knew he would do so good with his own podcast, and he didn't have one yet. And he did, and he has been killing it ever since. So, man, kudos to you, man. You're doing an awesome job. He's got a book out. He's working on his second. I think you're on your second book already.
He's working.
You know, which I mean, dude, like. You can't ask for better than that, man. You're doing your thing, and I mean that's just awesome, man. Well, I'm very happy for you, and I'm glad to see that success is coming your way.
I agree with that. You know, Nate's a great guy, and yes, Sean, I do agree. You do a bang up job on Sunday nights, man. You're holding down Sundays. You know, I feel like lately the entire network has been stepping up its game. They've been doing much more. You know, everything has been more polished. Everything has been amazing to see, and I am proud of all of our content creators. You know, all the way down the line, from Mondays, Tuesdays, today, tomorrow, and everything in between. You know, and it all works, and it's only going to get better as time goes on. Especially like the new show that David and Gwen have on Monday nights, the Uncensored. You know, they're bringing something.
Oh, I know, man. I know.
They're putting some more energy into Mondays and really doing a great job with that. And you know, you can't get anywhere without the OG family spirit with Lee and Blake and Gwen holding it down the fort on that one, and Encrypted Nation on Tuesdays. I can say that I am proud of the entire network. Am I a little biased towards Wednesdays? Yes, because Wednesdays is my night. You know, I have the lockdown spot at 9:30 at night, and I don't like to take a lot of. I'm not a very prideful person. I'm not a very ego-driven person. I do feel.
Well, you've been on Wednesdays for the longest.
Since the end of January, when I joined up, and you know, that's why I also give huge credit to Nate, because Nate helped navigate me through the beginning stages of Twisted Tales, and he was my very first guest on my show, and you know, he helped me out a lot. You know, like I said, Sean's been knocking it dead. You know, especially being the backup producer for Gwen and holding down the fort for her. And
I know.
And you know what? I'm going to give special credit for Gwen while we're sitting here, just bringing it all out there. Without her, this doesn't work.
Oh, I know that's a fact. That's a fact.
She is the
I
battery behind the machine, brother. She is the one that makes sure that we get our shit in on time. She's the one that makes sure that all this shit works. And sorry about the swears, but when I get passionate about something, sometimes
oh, brother, I get it. Hey, and I agree so much with you, man. I've worked with Gwen a long time, and I'm telling you, it is. I have seen like this step up, just keep going with her, and she never stops, dude.
No, you're right. It's amazing with the group of people that we have, Shane. To be honest with you, it's I'm so happy. It was so cool because to run it back a little bit, the history of Twisted Tales. I went to Nate one night. We were sitting there talking. I'm like, hey, why don't we just start co-promoting each other's shows to get more eyes on the product, And then he came up with the idea. Why don't we name it Wicked Wednesdays? And then we came up with all sorts of ideas. And then Christina wanted to join in, so we're like, you know what? She's earlier in the day. It gets a whole day's worth of programming in. And then when we were brought up the opportunity, they wanted to move you into our day. I'm like, something? It fits in with everything we got going on. It really does. Now we have a block from 6:30 to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, where it's just great programming after great programming, and I can't say enough good things about what we've been going on. It's like I check in with everybody every single day. We have the group page. We're always communicating
Yeah.
back and forth. And if everybody spitballs ideas or different images and remakes and ups and everything like that. And I'm gonna say a couple of things that I'm very fortunate this year that I'm branching out into the convention circuit coming up on August 1st, up in New Hampshire on the Paranormal Truth Seekers Expo. I'm actually setting up a booth for promoting Twisted Tales and Wicked Wednesdays and the All Access Network. I decided to take on that responsibility. It's an all-day affair. I'm going to be, talking up the network, talking up Wicked Wednesdays and all of our great programming, and that's on August 1st. And then the big one for me, and I can actually say that my show is an official podcast of the Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention that's going on in Augusta, Maine on September 12th and 13th. Big event, man. We got Bill Moseley coming in from the House of a Thousand Corpses franchise. And we got Craig Dowsett, Winnie the Pooh's coming in. Junko Bailey is coming in. I say we because I'm part of the event, but I'm a very, very small amount. The true heroes on this thing are Jeff Whittam and Ashley Morrill, the other ones who spearhead the entire thing. But I'm very fortunate that I have a booth there too. For the first time ever, I'm speaking on a panel. I don't know what the panel is going to be about, honestly, but the thing is like they're putting me in a booth. So I just got a giant banner. I'm working on promotional materials, and I'm going to be doing 2 days worth of networking for my show, as well as promoting Wicked Wednesdays and the All Access Network.
And we'll all promote you with that too. So please, send us the material as you get it, whatever, and we'll put it out there, man.
I'll tell you, Shane, it is a very intimidating yet exciting at the same time, because I've never set up at a convention. I've spoken at conventions before and just been a free floater. I've never actually had a table. I've never had to have to set up a display, or anything like this. So I'm still working on everything as it goes. It's been, it's if I had hair, I'd probably pull it out at this point. What did they say? It's a convention that should not be missed. I agree. He has prior obligations that weekend, but you know what? He'll still be there in heart, man, because what? The Wicked Wednesdays crew, I'm going to be promoting all of Wicked Wednesdays. I'm going to talk about all of and I'm going to talk about the network. Because the network, if it wasn't for the network, we wouldn't have shows. We wouldn't be on here talking right now. We wouldn't have the opportunity to do these things. And
Have
that's
you thought about maybe doing a show at that convention?
I haven't yet, but anything is possible. I won't have my computer, but I might go live on the. I might go.
That's what I mean. But do a Twisted Tales live. Do like a first ever Twisted Tale live from the Paracon.
Yeah, Nate. Nate was on the same panel with me last year, and I was wearing a Beetlejuice costume. He is absolutely right. That's the funniest thing. People keep asking me, "Hey, were you wearing the Beetlejuice suit?" I'm like, "Yes, I was." But you know something, man? I am just so fortunate to be able to represent all of the brands and the network that we're all part of, that everybody works so hard at, from Lee Triana being the CEO, and then all of our great content creators between Rez and Len and, Thomas Gormley, and I know he's taking a break in between seasons on his show, and everybody else, the Radicals, when they pop on the Fridays with the Creepy Chronicles, which I've never missed an episode. I love those guys, and their shows.
Yeah.
Their shows are just super informative. I've not missed one yet, and then this awesome people too. It's just we're in a great place right now, Shane, where we are able to create content. We're able to connect with people, and to me, I'm a people guy. I love to interact with people. So I know it's going to be a tremendous undertaking, but I'm so looking forward. Gwen, no, thank you, Gwen. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for putting up with my neurotic ass, because the minute that my show is over tonight, I'll be hitting her up for my advertisement and my poster the next freaking day.
Yeah, and she doesn't mind it, because like she'll message me and like, hey, try to get me somebody if you've got somebody like that, because she likes to stay ahead of the game. And man, you can't ask for better. And man, I've looked at the podcast platform for networks and stuff like that, and I cannot believe how many of them started as networks but have had a falling out, and now they're no longer doing it as a network. They're just doing it individually and stuff like that. And yeah, we praise God, we have gone strong,
and will only get better. The stronger the content gets, and the more eyes we get on the prize. That's why you see me, man. You can see my page. I'm always advertising from the next day after my show tonight. I'm already promoting my next guest, which I will break the news to everybody right now. My next guest is Gwen, because I've actually been doing a network kind of network special this month, because I had Lee Triana on at the beginning of the month. Then I had Christina on. I'm taking a break from it tonight because I have the amazing Sonia Thompson coming on, and I can't wait to talk to her. But then Gwen is coming on because I wanted to make sure that I spotlighted certain people, and Gwen is definitely one of the ones between Lee Triana and Gwen and Christina that I wanted to spotlight this month.
Yeah.
Then going into the fall, I plan on flipping the script on a bunch of you guys that have had me on, like you and Sean and a couple other guys, but I have different ideas for that one. So don't think I'm forgetting about you guys too. I have so many ideas. I have an idea book that I keep writing shit down in. I actually have like wrestling roundtables that I'm putting together for people so we can talk about professional wrestling, even like independent guys that I've worked with in the past, and just
talk about that for a minute, because my wife saw your pictures and he was like, he was a wrestler. So talk about that for a minute.
Sure, man. You know what? I love this because we're not talking about the normal stuff. I'm not sitting here talking about, the things that I've talked about the first two times. And this is a fantastic moment. So I got involved in the professional wrestling. I mean, I was a fan all my life. Okay. And then, I graduated high school in 1991, and I had no fucking direction whatsoever out there. Liabilities and whatnot, so forth. Sorry, I talk like a trucker. I apologize.
It's fine. Hey, I graduated in 95, man, and don't worry about your language right there. Listen, everybody thinks just because I'm clergy and stuff like that that they don't have to that they can't be themselves,
Oh, yeah.
and that is the farthest from the truth. Look, I'm not here to change you or anything about you. You know, you are who you are. You know, so I mean, if you talk like a trucker, you talk like a trucker. So I mean,
You know,
that
brother,
doesn't mean that I'm going to change the way that I feel about you and what you do.
thank you, Sean. You know, I try not to use the language unless it's on my show, unless people want to use it. I try to keep it as PG-13 as possible. But you know what? When I talk about passionate things, sometimes something's going to fly out. So,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
I had no direction when I got out of high school. Okay. I was working, I don't know, retail job or in the supermarket or something like that. And then my dad's like, hey, I think we should get you into wrestling school. I'm like, what? So we got in the car and we drove all the way to Boston, the suburb of Boston, Malden, Massachusetts, and that's where Killer Kowalski, the legendary Killer Kowalski from the 1950s, 60s wrestlers, he actually had a school in Malden, and we went in and sat down and talked to him, got the tuition done, and let me tell you something. I got the hell beat out of me on my first day. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing, brother? Nice to say hi. Thanks for talking to you, man. He's a solid guy too, you know. But yeah, so I mean, they were just throwing me through the ropes, and they were just seeing if I'm telling you, man, I had so many rope burns and bruises on my shoulders and my arms. I looked like I'd been whipped with a Singapore cane or something like something. You know, it was just ridiculous. We go to get in the car. I can barely get in the car. My dad's like, "So you coming back?" I'm like, "Yep, we'll be back on Thursday." So you know, and then it just became you build up and you learn. And I had my first professional wrestling match in the spring of '92, and then I continued to wrestle for the next 20 years. I'm going to say I had my final match, an offshoot match in 2013 was my very
oh
last.
wow, that is a long time, man.
I officially retired from normal in 2011, shortly after I got married, because but a year after I got married, because you know something, if it used to take me only like a little while to recover from a match, but my last few, it took days. And I'm like, okay, the body's telling me that, and my wife, God bless, she's like, you know, I think it's time that you hang it up. I'm like, begrudgingly I did, but you know something, even though I get the itch once in a while, I would never do it again, because although I loved it and I reminisce about it, and it was one of the greatest parts of my existence, I have moved forward and I can appreciate what I had, but I don't sit there longing for it every single day. Does that make sense?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I do have a question for you though, man. It's like, okay, like let's, you know, like I see people getting slammed through the metal chairs or tables, you know, or things like that, you know, like do you guys practice those or do they just come off the blue?
So when it comes to practicing with weapons and things like that, it's in the moment, because you only have one table for a
That's
match.
what I mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Chair shots, you can practice those, because if you get like a steel chair, and they do use metal folding chairs, that they are not they're not fake tinfoil chairs. I mean, I can tell you that I've probably taken about 300 chair shots to my head, and I can't tell you. I know there's at least 6 documented concussions that I had, and probably several more that I don't even know about. And I mean, I wrestled during the hardcore era as well, so I got put through like the thumbtacks and the barbed wire, and got put through tables, and
That's so crazy.
used ladders and chairs and the canes and whatnot and so forth, you know. But it was the way that things were, Shane, to be honest with you. And did it suck at times? Oh dear God, I can. If you want me, I'll tell you a story about something that happened at one of the shows that I was doing. So, we were doing a show at this place in Boston, called Good Times. It was this big entertainment complex, and the guy I was wrestling loved to use thumbtacks as a the thing. So he poured all these thumbtacks in the ring, and I I slammed him on him. I went up to the top rope and I did my finisher was a splash off the top rope like the old Jimmy Snuka from the 1980s. And I came down hard. Boom! I hit it. Finished the match. I'm sitting out back, and all of a sudden I look at my arm, Shane, and I must have had close to 100 thumbtacks stuck in my arm from when I landed. I got them all in my right forearm from right below my wrist all the way up to my elbow joint. Now you don't feel them because when you hit the ring, man, the adrenaline it punches you in the face. You're right.
That's so crazy, man. Because like, so you did those hardcore matches and stuff like that.
I have done those hardcore matches, Shane. I've been put through barbed wire boards. I've been like the ECW style thing. You know, I've been put through tables and thrown off of a ladder, and I mean, not as much as a lot of the other guys did, but I have done those hardcore spots. I did do a lot of those hardcore style matches in the past.
Now let's talk about the cuts.
Okay.
Are yours official, or do you do like what Ric Flair used to do?
Oh, the blading, you mean? I honestly, Sean, I've only bled 3 times in a match, and it was all hard way. I could never bring myself to using the hands. Hey, Morgan, how you doing?
Hey, Morgan.
And I could never bring myself to actually doing that kind of thing to myself. But I hit the post one time, and there was like a bolt sticking out, and I caught that across the top of my head, and that bled like a pig. I've had a couple of I had the edge of a chair catch me one time, and I bled. I've bled from my arms a bunch of times because I don't really count the arms because the arms are just like, shit happens. You could take one of those Singapore cane things the wrong way, and you could get laced open. We're I'm doing well, Morgan. It's great to hear from you. Have fun.
It is great.
I know she's going to be on the show after us with Nate and with Gwen and with their special guest Kenneth Drake.
I saw that. And Morgan, you asked about the picture that you did. Man, you did a great job at that. And I'm telling you, the more you use it, and the more specific in the words that you get when you use that, the better your pictures are going to come out and more realistic they're going to come out. She's talking about doing like some of the stuff like I did, with pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think like making like the posters like Gwen does and like what you do and stuff like that. See, I'll be honest with you, I can't do stuff like that. That's why I treasure what Gwen does for me, because she makes a banger poster. I mean, I'm sure you saw the one that I have with Sonia Thompson coming out tonight. Oh my God, it has her zombie pictures on there too. It's an amazing thing, man. I'm speechless at times for the opportunities that I have had. Okay. I wrestled for 20 plus years. I was inducted into my fraternity's Hall of Fame in 2024. Yeah. Jesus Christ Almighty! the joy of using a cell phone. Somebody's like, "Just go away." Jesus Christ! I don't know who the hell Haverhill is, but they can go fucking. They can go to hell. No, man. When you're using an alternative form of communication, like usually I'm on the computer, but my wife is banging it out in college and she's really kicking a lot of ass and taking names with that, and I'm so proud of her for that too. So I'll get the computer later on when she's done doing her stuff, and I can't be prouder for her. But getting a chance to wrestle for over 20 years and then being inducted into the Hall of Fame from my own, with my own fraternity brothers, and that was amazing in 2024. You actually showed the picture of me holding a plaque earlier in the intro.
I saw that.
To be inducted by your peers, and the IWF, that plaque, that was Killer Kowalski's organization. That brought people like Triple H went through there.
Yeah.
Perry Saturn and John Kronos and the Eliminators went through there. China went through there from the ninth one of the world. China, there were many people who went through the IWF, And to be honored and be part of that Hall of Fame group is a tremendous honor, you know? And then we all know that I started the paranormal in 2011, 2010, 2011. I think my wife and I did a couple of small things here or there, but we really started getting into about 14, 15 years ago now. And then all of a sudden podcasting came available, and Gwen and Litriana recruited me, and you know, I am a content creator. I never thought this was going to ever happen to me, to be honest with you, Shane. It wasn't on my bingo card a year ago.
It wasn't on Nate's either.
No, but you know something? The thing that we've all created, and I know I might be talking a dead horse back to life or whatever, or just beating a dead horse, but the Wicked Wednesdays thing, I take so much pride in the fact that we've created this whole entity.
It's magical, man.
It's an entity inside of a bigger entity. Like the All Access Network is the larger entity. It is the universe that we are all in, and the Wicked Wednesdays grouping has become an entity in and amongst itself. You know, and I'm so proud of that. I don't care. I will pat myself on the back. We should all do the same, because we are working hard, and it's just getting better. It's going to get better every single week, in my opinion.
It is. It is. It is. It really, really is. You know, with yours, you know, I've always liked your name. You know, as far as podcasts, because man, that name just permits you to be able to speak about anything, really.
I agree with you, man. That's why I've always said Twisted Tales. It can go in any direction it wants. It doesn't have a particular path. Yes, I started off primarily paranormal. Then I've been getting into a lot of horror. I was just at a Monster Expo last weekend. I've made some more contacts for like independent filmmakers and independent horror stuff. And, you know, I may even be having a magician on at some point who also is a big fan of Houdini and like, I'm down for anybody who wants to come on the show, because my primary goal, Shane, is to elevate people. You know,
Yeah, no.
and it's the truth. I mean, I know that we're just talking off the cuff here, and which is amazing, because it's great to just be able to freestyle and not have to think about what questions to ask next or anything like that. You know, but without guys like you and Len and the other guys who have been on here for a while, you know, there wouldn't have been room for us newer people to come in and do all that stuff too. So, you know, my hat's off to you guys too for establishing the base roots of what we have here in the network. You know,
I definitely appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it, because like I said, I remember the podcast in general. Because I specialize in spiritual warfare, demonology, and exorcism ministries. And so we were doing a demonology podcast, and it was such a good, informative podcast. I like even going back and watching that one. I mean, if you haven't seen that one with Litriana and them, I mean, it was such a good podcast, with Blaine and Gwen. I mean, it just was a really good one. And I contacted and I said, you guys are a network. A podcast network, like what are the steps about getting involved? And that's funny how you're saying that, because we were going to ask you if you wanted to be involved.
Yeah.
And that's how I got started. And man, we've been just trying to do it ever since.
And do it, you definitely have, and we all know that we all go through hurdles here or there, and we have obstacles we all have to overcome. But you know what? Everybody so far has overcome those obstacles.
Yeah.
Everybody has been able to bring the fire, so to speak. Bring the content. And that's the best part to me. Is getting a chance, because everybody's show is a little different. We're not all doing the same content. on every single show. Because if you did, who the hell would want to watch by Wednesday? I mean, it'd be like, oh God, didn't I just see this on Monday? Oh, didn't I just see this on Tuesday? Why am I even going to bother tuning in for the rest of the week? I mean, by having such a diverse topics and just different people have different flows, and
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
that's the most important. That's the most important thing. You know, I love my banner behind me. My Twisted Tales logo is my pride
Oh,
and
I
joy.
do too.
It's my baby, you know, and it's like a cloth banner, so I don't ever have to worry about like being digitized out of my screen or something like that, because you know I'm old school. And when Gwen hit me up with, "Hey, we want you to do this," I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a cloth banner and hang it behind me. Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing?
What's up? What's up, Jeffrey? He's one of our Benedictine priests, you know, in our order too. So yeah, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
It's fantastic, man. You know, and yeah, I've even seen a renewed energy in you by moving on to Wednesdays. I feel like it's you've been rejuvenated, and you've got a lot
That's
more
funny how you say
fire.
that. That's funny how you say it because man, I was so into Mondays and stuff like that. I was like, you know, I hope they don't ever, you know, want me to move and everything. I said, but and I even said it to my wife, said it that I said, but if they do move me, I hope they move me to Wednesdays.
Shane, it works. Everything we got going on just works. It's so hard, you know, and who knows what the future is going to bring. That's for sure, you know. And I'm looking forward to establishing a lot more contacts and getting to meet more people. And I can't wait to see what the network's got next, because God, it's just
You were talking about these paracons and stuff like that. How many? I mean, have you spoke to many of them? I mean, you spoke about one that you're indefinitely going to. Do you have any more coming with that?
Yeah, well, I have the two. I have August 1st, which is the Paranormal Truth Seekers Expo. That's going to be in Nashua, New Hampshire. And then I have the one in September, which is in Augusta, Maine. And I'm working on a couple of other projects, but they're not quite set in stone yet. I've been getting, like, I've had people feelers out asking me if I'm interested. But you know, being on a panel and getting a chance to speak to people versus having a table and having to bring a product, or just something like that, that part is a little bit, a little bit intimidating, because you're trying to sell yourself, or you're trying to sell your product, or whatever. I mean, I'm not necessarily selling anything as much as I am, networking and doing all of that kind of stuff. And like being there, and like the main Paracon last year, Shane, had over 6,000 people through the door
Oh, I know.
in 2 days.
That's amazing.
And I mean, this year is going to be another
It's
banger.
going to be up there, man. The more the more they get done, the more people are going to recognize it. The more residual comebacks they're going to have. So 6,000 may add to 12,000 or 15,000. I mean, you never know how that goes. And
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. And you know what? The funny thing is, I was talking to Jeff earlier, the guy who's running it, and he was telling me that he's had celebrities reaching out to him saying that they want to they want to be there this year, but it's too late because they don't have any more space. They're already, so he's already booking his celebrities into next year. Talk about a hardworking guy. Jeff and Ashley, they work so hard, and something. The guy who made my giant banner, I have him doing some other stuff, Michael Castro, man. He has Danger Designs out of New Jersey.
yeah,
And I'm going to tell you a little story. So I ordered my banner. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to get my banner for the show, and then so everybody's like, oh, talk to Mike. So I contacted Mike and said, hey, Mike, I'm interested in getting a banner. I know you do a lot of big events and whatnot. He's like, yeah, let me know what you want. And then I sent him the stuff. No lying, Shane, less than 3 days later, I had it in my possession in my house. I ordered it on Monday night. I had it Thursday afternoon sitting on my front steps.
yeah,
I've never,
he does such a good job. He does, he really does. I mean, like Like I've seen a lot of his work, and I'm sure yours is gonna.
It's like the guy behind, like my sign, my look, the thing behind me, only 6 feet wide and 4 feet in length. So, it's going to be huge. I think I have a good sized booth, and I'm getting a table runner and some other things set up because I want this thing to like really pop when people come to the table. I want it to pop. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing this because I enjoy doing what I do so much. I know I keep going back to it, but it's so true that I enjoy being a podcaster. I enjoy
You
being
have to. You have to. You have to look forward to what you're doing. You have to. No matter. I created. Bridging the seen and unseen. I created this as a bridge. I wanted to connect because I am clergy that works in the paranormal field,
hmm
and I wanted to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy. And when I first started this, there was still a huge gap between the two.
which is
And
kind of crazy. Yeah, honestly, because we're both working with entities and spirits that you cannot physically see with your own two eyes. Whether you're chasing a ghost down or whether you're communicating with the higher power of any religion, I don't necessarily subscribe to any one particular religion. I respect everybody's religion individually. Everybody has the right to practice however they want to practice, and that's cool with me. It's just that we all, whether you're praying to the angels or whether you're praying to higher power or you're trying to communicate with a spirit or an elemental or whatnot, we're all dealing with entities that we cannot physically see with our own two eyes. Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. It is an amazing. I've only been on here for a short period of time compared to the other guys, and I appreciate this fact that somebody says, I've had many people say that I've been kicking down doors, so to speak,
you have.
for
You
such a
have.
short period of
You've
time.
done
And
a great job. And I agree with you, about that. You know, I mean, people I want people when they see the podcast that I've had psychics, I've had all kind of things on. Now in ministry and things like that, we may not use the term psychic a lot. We may use the term like discernment,
okay,
and things like that, which is there's a relativity there that balances them both.
right.
But you know, here's my thing. Like a lot of people say that psychics, represent witchcraft and things like that. And I know ministers to this day that will tell you that they do. And to be honest, there
Yeah.
are certain practices that some psychics do
hmm
that are borderline, that get on to witchcraft and things of that nature. But for the majority of them, they want to be able to help people. They
Yeah.
want to be able to be there for people. They
Yeah.
recognize who they are. They recognize that I worship God, and
Yeah.
they're all for it. And I will never take that from them. And another thing is, you know, I have a hard time, dealing with, like when people mess with tarot cards. I don't consider that like a gift, but when they're helping people and they're doing things like that, man, that to me, like you cannot tell me that is not a God given gift that they're using to help people.
And to go along with what you're saying, I understand what you're saying because whether or not you're going to a church and you're having like a pastor or a priest or anything help you through prayer, or whether you're going to see a psychic medium and because you're more of a holistic person and you're having them communicate divinely, you're getting help to get yourself through spiritually through your day-to-day basis. It doesn't matter whether you're in a brick and mortar or you're doing cards. I think that it all has good. I hate to say it, I think both of them have bad on it too, and I'm always the person who's going to look at it from I always look at it from both sides. I see everything from both sides of the coin, because as many great people have used God in the positive way, there have been some that have used it in the wrong way. And
Well, you think too. You think, like Christians that talk about, people that use tarot cards and things like that. All right, here's my view on this right here. A sin, brother, the way that we as humans look at sin are like skyscrapers. You have some big ones, you have some little ones, you have some medium ones, and things like that. But that's the farthest from the truth on how we should be looking at that. We should look at them the way that God does, and the way that God sees sin, that if you went above those skyscrapers and you were looking down at them,
yep,
they're all the same. They're all the same size. There's no difference in them, and things like that. And regardless, I have met some of the most authentic and wonderful people, through this podcast, and getting people familiar with who's in the paranormal, who works in the paranormal.
Yep.
Yeah, granted, when I'm helping a family, I use a real biblical, theological approach to it. And my wife and I have had a lot of success behind it. Like, we still talk to some of our clients that we've had that have wrote letters of recommendation, for both of us, and things like that. I mean, it's so good, man. And my thing is I tell people, if it works, it works.
No, and that's true. And like I said, I don't subscribe to any one particular way. You get through your day how you need to get through your day. And as long as it doesn't adversely affect me or hurt a lot of people in the process, then you have to do what's right by you. And, a lot of people are religious. I'm not, I can't subscribe to any one, because like I said, there are positives and negatives in every single one. And,
oh yeah.
And I'm not what I consider a sheep. I can't like I'm way too much of a forward thinker. I do believe in a higher power. Don't get me wrong. I truly do. But I don't let that lead my day-to-day life. I try to help people out on a ground level as much as I can. Whether I'm talking
what's worse, talking about someone doing tarot cards or whatever they're doing, I mean, what's worse, that or gossiping inside of a church trying to make yourself look better, and I mean, I don't agree with that, like us as being Knights Templars and Benedictine priests and stuff like that. We are a church without walls.
Yep.
We don't have that, but we are an organization. We're a legit church.
Yeah.
We have everything going to that extent, but we are the farthest from being judgmental towards people and who they are.
And you know what? That's the most important thing. And no matter what, if you go if you decide to go by the basic golden rule, we're all God's children. If you go by, however you want to believe, we're all the higher powers children, and so we should treat everybody with dignity and equality.
Do unto others.
Dignity and equality, brother. That's how I do things,
Yep.
And I get along great with everybody, and it's very rare that I find somebody that I just have no use for. But when I do, I can cut it clean and walk away because I know that there are so many other people out there that I haven't met yet that I know that I'm gonna connect with, and it's cool. And I enjoy that part of life, because we're only here on the spinning rock for a short amount of time. So utilize every minute you got, however you can, and do whatever you got to do, whether it's having podcasts or whether you'll continue with your education, or whether whatever you want to do, go on vacation or just spend time with family, or make new friends, or do whatever you got to do. But we're only here for so long, you know what I'm saying, and you just utilize it for what you got. Me, I'm very fortunate that this whole thing has brought me a whole new path, and I'm taking this as far as I can, and I'm going to throw everybody on my back because, baby, these shoulders are huge. I got plenty of room for everybody on the back, so it's going to be a hell of a ride moving forward. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we can't ask for better than what we have, man. Like you said, it just continues to get better, and I appreciate that more than anything. That's why, when you offered to come on, I was so excited about that because you and I have always had great conversations, and I knew no matter what, we would be able to just continue that. And I think this show already, I mean, look, we're at almost 54 minutes already,
Oh, I know.
and we could continue going on and on and on and on.
You know what?
Um,
That's the best part. When you're enjoying the flow of the conversation, Shane, time is just a construct, man.
yep.
And there are sometimes you're having a conversation and you're looking down, you're like, oh my god, I'm only 5 minutes into this thing. How much more time do I got? But then there
Yeah.
are conversations and you're looking like, oh my god, we've gone over an hour, and holy crap, like this, it doesn't even feel like the conversation's even started, because you know
Hey, I
what?
will tell you. Let me tell you this story really quick, and
Yeah, right.
you'll think this is funny. Um, One of my good friends, he builds equipment, and I mean, just a really good guy in the paranormal. He got invited to go to this certain people's podcast, and he said, he goes, I'd like for you to watch and tell me what you think about it. So I was watching, and just just the extent of the conversations they were trying to bring my friend into, it
Yeah.
was so crazy that my friend actually got up in the middle of the podcast and walked away from it and didn't go back
Wow.
in the middle of the podcast. And he called me immediately and he said, "Did you see that?" I said, "I've been watching every bit of it." And I was like, because this person, he was on this podcast, and this lady was trying to tell him that he had this negative spirit hanging all over him. And my friend is like the most positive. There's nothing there that could have, I mean, the whoever it was just didn't know what they were talking about, and they made him uncomfortable enough on that podcast to where he got up and just let them run by themselves.
Wow. I mean, I can't say that that's not the first time I've ever seen that happen. I've seen people lose signal and glitch out of a show, and then find out later on that they just weren't happy with the content or how they were being treated by the host. And my main thing, Shane, I treat every one of my guests with respect, and you know
You do.
it, because they are the spotlight of the show. I'm not just going to go in there and talk to myself all the time. I'll just put a friggin' mirror next to my head and just be like, "Hey, how you doing today?" And then just do a
Right.
giant, just do an hour worth of a monologue into a mirror. No, I'm not. I'm not that kind of a person. The show is there to spotlight the guest. The guest is what drives people to want to watch, because
Yeah.
something. I could, if I wanted to do just talking to the camera and whatever, I'd start doing TikTok videos, which are only 3 minutes long. I couldn't imagine talking to myself for an hour. I'd want to punch myself by the time I was done with it. It would just be fun.
Yeah, that's good. But man, that's good that you do that. Jimmy, we got a few minutes left right there.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you? Like where to find you, how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely, brother. You know what? On my Facebook page, Jeremy Carr. That's the primary place. Instagram, YodaMan1973 is the Instagram where you can find me if you go to Insta. I'm sure you can contact me through the All Access Network. Check out Twisted Tales on this lovely channel, this lovely night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as part of the All Access Wicked Wednesdays lineup. It has been a true honor to be on here with you tonight, man. Got the 2 conventions coming up that I'm very proud of, and as far as getting a chance to represent the network is a truly humbling experience. Because it's a lot to take on, because it's not just myself, it's everything that we got going on. It's all the
Yep.
brands and everything like that. And if anybody wants to be on the show, they can contact me directly. If anybody wants to get on another great show, reach out to Shane, man. Bridging the Scene in 19 is a hell of a show. Come on, everybody, go ahead and check out Shane, be part of his show too. And something, I got to agree with you before we get off here today. And Sean, thank you very much for producing the episode tonight, man. We appreciate you immensely.
Yep.
I do believe you have a little bit of lightning in the bottle here with the with bringing it back, and
About running it back. Yeah, I do. I agree. And I think that's going to be really, really good to see where they were and see where they are. I think that's going to really be good.
Yeah, and it'll bring you a lot more fresh content
Yep.
for what you're looking for, and thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate it, man. We all put in a lot of hard work, and I'm just so proud of everything we got going on, and I can't wait to see what's going on in the future. Run it back, Bridging the Seen and Unseen with Shane McLain, man. That's
it. That's it. Hey, Jeremy, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for being on with me tonight, man. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'm sure we'll do this again.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, buddy.
You too.
Well, guys, Jeremy Carter, you guys look him up. He's an amazing guy. He has a heart of gold. He cares about people. He cares about the show. He cares about the network. He's such a good, positive asset to have around. And we can't thank him enough for all that he does. But I thank each and every one of you who have commented, who have come on, Jeff, Nate. I mean, all of you guys are amazing people. Thank you so much for showing us love and support tonight. I'm gonna start this Run It Back series to where we're bringing old previous guests on, that were on the show before and see where they are today. So until then, guys, you guys stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.